This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life, where you live. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It's Jake, your host. In today's episode, we are at the Galloping Gallette in Braselton, Georgia. Now, I'm going to preface this with saying, as I talked about in the interview, thankfully I've had an opportunity to have a couple layovers in Paris, which I've got a friend that one of my best friends lives outside of, about 45 minutes outside of Paris, France, and I have had the opportunity to have real, authentic French food. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. Everything that is like terrible for you, like all of the desserts, the pastries, the croissants, everything, the crepes, it's all amazing. You're like, I don't care if it's bad for me. I plan on dying right after I eat this. So after having left there, it's hard to come back and have things that pose as French cuisine when you actually know what French cuisine is. This little place in Braselton, Georgia is the closest thing to being on the streets of Paris eating authentic French cuisine. These folks are 2 years into being in the U.S. They came here directly from France. I'm telling you, they are the closest thing to being in France as far as a restaurant and cuisine goes that you can find in our neck of the woods, by a mile. So if you want a great place that is supporting a locally owned business that is just going to be a really, really neat experience and, might I say, absolutely delicious, if you don't get one of they've got the sweet and savory crepes and the galettes, but the one caveat is you're going to be like so full and happy, like just don't plan on doing anything afterwards. Like you just like go sit on a bench for an hour and just revel in what just happened to your taste buds. So you know how to find us online, Facebook, Instagram, North Georgia Life Podcast. You can email us at northgeorgialifepodcast@gmail.com. And again, we just want to say thank you for all of you who are sharing this with your neighbors, your coworkers, people that you meet that are new to the area, or maybe just kind of don't get out a whole lot to new places. We are getting new listeners every week, and we just are so thankful for all of you. And if there are places that you would like us to feature that are small businesses, restaurants, things of that nature, family activity sites, go ahead and send them to us. We would love to take a look at them and get them on the schedule if we can. With that, we'll get started at the Galloping Gallette in Braselton, Georgia. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It's Jake, your host, and today we are at a location here in Braselton, which if you don't know where it is, you're gonna find out real soon. My wife and I came here for the first time to the Galloping Gallette, which is an authentic French cuisine restaurant, which is right in downtown Braselton. We came this past weekend, and oh my goodness, like it's funny when you eat really good food, no matter what fare it is, what style it is, everybody kind of has that same reaction when they take the first bite of something that they hadn't had before, and it really just kind of knocks your sock off, and you kind of like start moaning, and you bob your head up and down like, yeah, this is good. And both of us, when we started eating the crepes here, we were just like, oh my gosh, why have we not come here sooner? So I am here with Vivian, who is the managing partner here, one of the owners, and as you will hear, she is straight from France. She is the authentic thing, the real thing. So, Vivian, thanks for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you for thinking about us for your podcast.
Yeah. So you have you guys have had such an interesting adventure. You are relatively new here, but you kind of hit the ground running as soon as you came to the States. So before we get to kind of how you started the operation and what you wanted to do in the restaurant world, tell us a little bit about where you're from in France.
We come from northern France. If you have a look at the map, usually what comes to mind when you think about that region is Normandy, because this is where D-Day took place.
Okay.
And so just below that region, you have Brittany, and this is where we come from. I would even say that we come from the bottom of that region. We used to live in a big town whose name is Nantes. This is the seventh city in terms of population in France. But I was born in a small smaller town, which is the size of Braselton.
Okay.
My mom herself is really from Bretagne. She was born in a very small town of 500 inhabitants, and she brought traditions with her when she married my father.
Okay.
And this is where we come from.
So does the line of cooks and chefs run in the family?
Not really.
No?
I'm a farmer's daughter. And I'm not the one cooking in the kitchen, actually. But when I met my husband, I brought that with me, the galette and the crepe. My mom used to cook that for us every Friday. She would cook either crepe or galette.
Okay.
And for me, it's a non-brainer. It's always been there. And it's a little bit like the burger for you.
Uh-huh.
It's my tradition. It's the same.
So that's kind of your Friday night. A lot of people
Yep.
get pizza.
Yep.
In France, it's the crepe.
Yeah, well, not necessarily in France, but in my house,
Okay.
it was that.
In your house.
And I would say that in Bretagne, you will find that in a lot of places, in addition, of course, to the crêperie, which is the name of the restaurant for crepe and galette. You will
Okay.
find that in lots of houses. We like our tradition in terms of food over there.
So I'm curious the
Mhm.
name.
Yes?
What's symbolism of the name? Or what's the name mean? The Galloping Gallette.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Actually, it was, so at first it's my husband's business. I joined him because, I wouldn't let him go to the US on his own, of course. And because also the galette and the crepe, it's more my thing at the beginning than his. Even so, he adopted it. The reason of the name, finding the right name is always hard.
Mm.
I don't know if you had to do that, but to find the right term, the right
Yeah.
message. I mean, because it's supposed to represent you and to convey a message about
Mhm.
what you're doing. So we were all thinking about it with, we have family here. His stepfather is here, his former stepfather is here, and his wife, and we were talking together on that day. And Yannick had seen lots of shows, such as the one of Julia Child or the Galloping Gallette,
Yeah.
which is a British show, if my memory serves me well. And of course, the good names had all been taken. And suddenly, Margot, our stepmom, came with that one, and I was like, "This is the one. It's the one." And I think it's the one. It just takes a little while because for people to understand it, because usually when you think about crepe, you don't think about galette. So galette is very unknown. I mean, it used to be. Now people know a little more about it. And
What is the distinction between the two?
so the galette is a crepe, but it's made with buckwheat. Basically, it's the
Ah.
difference. And so instead of being sweet, it will be savory. And the funny thing is that even in Bretagne, when you go there, you will find places, some spots in which we will talk about crêpe de blé noir, which is literally buckwheat crepe.
Huh.
And in other places, you will talk about galette. And I do not have the explanation. Someone probably does.
Yeah.
Has it. It's just that I don't have it. I just always called it this way. So to me, it's a galette.
Yep.
Mm.
It's easy enough.
Yeah.
Easy. So your husband was he? Did he have cooking genes? Was that something he did? Did he go to culinary school?
He did a training before we opened that restaurant.
Mhm.
Otherwise, his background is not so much culinary than artistic. When I met him, he was in fine arts. He did 5 years in fine arts, and then afterwards he did his voluntary service, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. You know, in France we still had that. Actually, at that time, I'm talking back 1998, a little while ago, and afterwards. He wanted to go back to Paris, actually, where his mom is from. And I didn't want to go to Paris. I wanted to stay in my region. So he found a job in a business who used to remodel houses.
Uh-huh.
This is where he started his first job. And then he had a company in that kind of industry for 13 years. And at some point, he was just tired of that, tired of dealing with lots of things.
Mhm.
He wanted to change of business, and this is where the galette and the crepe came in.
Huh.
Well, it was that, and also the fact that if he was to redo something, it was not to be in France for the time being. As
Mhm.
much as we love France, we needed to change hair.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I talked earlier about his former stepfather's name is Fabrice, and Fabrice is very important to that story because he's been living in the US for the past 30 years almost, and he loves the US. I mean, he loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's passionate about something, he will keep you, I mean, he will bring you in his patient.
Yes.
He is the one who trained me to be a translator, and he's the one who convinced us that the idea of coming here was a good idea.
Yeah.
And the more we came, the more we realized that maybe we could bring something which was different.
Yeah, and is that the family member that lives here in Houston?
Yes.
Okay. They're from France
Yes.
originally?
Fabrice is from France.
Okay.
Margot, his wife, is from California, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the booming metropolis of Braselton, Houston, is the international spotlight.
Exactly that.
Yeah. So somebody told me it was probably maybe a month ago. It was my business partner. We were talking about some of the episodes I was doing, and I think he was the one who had introduced me to the fact that you guys were here. And when my first time my wife and I went to Paris, we were actually the only 2 times we've been. We're on layovers. We were there. One of my best friends lives outside of Paris in Brie, and so we basically just planned a day or 2 layover so we could visit with him and see Paris. And that, if you've never been to Paris, it is you literally the first time you're walking around, you just feel like you're in a movie set. It is an old world feel that I've never experienced anywhere else on the planet. And then the street vendors, that was the first authentic crepe I had, and I didn't want to leave. You know, it was just crepe and Nutella, and it was beautiful, and it was wonderful, and it loved me.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. It's crepe is a non-brainer. I've always loved that. And yes,
so good, and we literally, I can't even believe we did this when I think about it now. So we filled like 3 or 4 gallon Ziploc bags with croissants.
Are you kidding me?
No, because both of our offices, the people we were working with at the time, knew that we were coming back, and some of I think 1 or 2 of them had been to France before, and they're like, "You got to bring them back." And before we went, we were like, "There's croissants here, you know, go to Panera."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's not anywhere close to the same. So I don't even know how much weight we gained over the next week or
you
so.
shouldn't speak like this. Never think about in terms of weight.
Yeah, exactly. Don't think in terms of weight.
No.
Think in terms of smiles.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's good for you.
Yes. So when I found out you were here, and he said I think it was Corey. It said that you were like real French. I was like, oh my gosh. Then they probably have like the real crepe machines, and they got the squeegees, and they do it like the street vendors.
Yes, the
and when we started eating the crepes that we had on Saturday night, it was like, oh my goodness, yes, 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 yes. And we had the sweet and we had the savory, and it was, I mean, it's all fantastic. The French press was amazing, and the thing I love, because when you have a restaurant that you have things that are just, the taste is exceptional. You can get lost in the menu if the menu is like, 5 pages front and back. Your menu is fairly simple, but it's diverse. So we had one of the crepes, I think it was the special that day. It had some sort of magical thick bacon with leeks and mozzarella cheese and something else. And it, I mean, like one of the best things I've had in like forever. It was so good.
Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
So talk a little bit about how you formed your menu, because your menu has variety, but it's not super complicated. So somebody finds 2 or 3 things they love, you don't get lost in the menu. So how did you guys, is that normal for French crepes?
If you go in a crêperie such as this one in France, you can find different menus. This one actually is we're a casual place, let's say it like this. And it's true that maybe we represent France here because there's not lots of French places around. But as I said earlier, this is very typical of our region. So it's not representative of French food specifically, I would say. And to get back to the former point, if you were to go into that kind of place, you would find different things maybe. It can be less elaborated or more elaborated. It really depends on where you go. In our menu, we feature one which is like complete, as you would say it. It's very simple. It's Swiss cheese, ham, and egg. This is probably the most popular ever in France. I still eat it pretty much regularly
sounds
here,
pretty good,
almost
yeah.
every day. But the funny thing is that I'm pretty sure that if you were to order it, you would order it with scrambled eggs.
Mm.
Well, I will order it the gooey way because it's the best.
Okay.
So it's a little bit like egg over easy.
Yes.
Pretty
yes,
much that.
yes.
It's very good like this. And so it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And if you compare it with the one that you had, this one is a little more elaborated. I think, as I said, I think you had chicken on that one, and this one is
Yes, it was the marinated chicken.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's so
that
good.
one is a recipe of my husband actually.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lemon marinated
Yes.
chicken with a little curry in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the menu actually has been elaborated. Of course, my husband did it with a friend, with a chef.
Mm-hmm.
Who was there for 1 week before we opened. They put their minds together and they chose the recipe that we would do. Because again, my husband doesn't have a background in cooking, so
Right.
we needed to make sure that we would keep things simple
Yeah.
but good.
Yeah.
The very important thing to us is the taste, and afterwards, I guess that what is important also is to cook.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious, but everything is freshly cooked every morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it makes probably. I mean,
Yeah.
it
And
helps to.
the dessert crepe we had was, I mean, just like get a wheelbarrow, roll me out. It was so good. It was the fresh strawberries, some sort of caramel sauce, some sort of cookie crumble, something. I mean, I think there was Nutella in the middle. I don't know what it was. It was so insanely good.
Mhm.
Just like you said, everything tasted like it just got there today. I mean, it was fresh, and it was light, but it was like still decadent.
Mhm.
So yeah, really, really good. How did when you guys got here? I mean,
Yes.
you've only been here what 2.5 years, and you opened up.
No, we
almost-
were not here at all before.
You weren't here.
We arrived 2 years and a half before. I mean, yeah, it was okay. We opened in October 2017, and we were not here before. The only thing is that we used to visit here
Oh, you were
every year.
visiting. Okay.
And so that's why, as I said, it's why we knew about the area. But when the day came that we needed to find a place, it was kind of a challenge for us.
Right.
And we did that in November, December 2016. And at first, we were not thinking about Braselton. What we had in mind was more Atlanta or Athens,
Right.
because we had discussions with our real estate, which was with the same
Yeah.
company you're working with,
Uh-huh.
by the way. And she had been to Paris, and actually it was very interesting because when she came back, she told me, "Well, I tried the galette, and I didn't feel that she was very excited about it." And I was there, "So you didn't like it?" She was there, "No, I didn't," and she was very apologetic about it. And I was there, "Well, you know what? It's okay. It's
Yeah.
a matter of taste, and but that's very interesting because." I mean, it's good to hear that you may not like it. She was like, "Well, you may want to be in a place where there is a lot of traffic." So evidently, at the time at least, the big towns came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, the more we visited the places in the big town, so Atlanta or Athens, as I said, it wasn't for us.
Right.
We didn't feel comfortable there, not to mention the prices, which were very high,
Right,
of course.
right.
So the risk was very high. And the funny thing is that, again, our family was there. But you know what? Think about Braselton. There are things going on there. And they talked about the Cotton Calf, which was a big restaurant,
Right.
which had just opened. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
So we visited there. We visited the restaurants. They showed us their place, and they told us actually about the place that we have now,
Mhm.
which was empty at the time. And I was so amazed at the building, which had been completely reshaped. I had seen it the first time I came in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, I needed some stamps, so I went on the other side of the building at the post office with postcards that I had a hard time finding, by the way. And this store, this big building, seemed to be nice, but very badly in need of repair.
Right.
And when I saw what had been done 3 years ago, I was like, wow, that's just incredible.
Yeah.
And the people who came to that restaurant, so that meant that there were people who were maybe willing to spend more time here and in waiting for something else, expecting something else.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're here, actually. We ended here because of that reason.
We talked about before we started recording, the Braselton area, as most people know, is going bananas as far as development goes. So you got in at a really good time.
I think
got
so.
Your footprint.
We've been very
lucky. It doesn't
lucky.
hurt that you're in the same building as Cotton Calf.
No, absolutely not. I
You're
think it's a great
in a great
thing.
location.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys are fairly, as far as restaurants go, you're fairly new in the business, but
Yes.
you have passed the main threshold, which is the 2-year mark.
Yes.
That's the, that's the ominous date everybody tries to get past in any small business. If you went back in time from the times you visited to when you actually started over the last 2 years, anything that you would do differently, you'd do sooner, you would have changed?
I don't really know. It's hard. It's hard to answer that kind of question. I think we're still very new.
Yeah.
Time flies by, and we just realized it. For instance, when we celebrated our first year, it was already something. The second year was there. No way. Yes, it's here, and actually we are halfway already to the third year.
Yeah.
And it just seemed very, very incredible to me. I don't know yet. I mean, yes, of course, there are things that we should have done differently, probably, but I mean, we took it slowly at first because I don't think that we didn't really know how to do it another way.
Right.
We needed to make sure that everyone was comfortable with what they were doing in the kitchen. We're still building the kitchen team. There's been a lot of rotation, unfortunately, there. Even so, we've always managed to have good people.
Yeah.
And at least 1 or 2 people at a time, so that my husband is always there, but he can always rely on good people to be here to help him out. And as for the room, I've been very lucky and fortunate to always have good people on whom I could rely.
Yeah.
And it's everything. Without the team, you cannot do anything. What I would love to be able to do differently, I would love to be able to open more. We would love to, because so far our opening hours, this is Tuesday through Saturday with 11 to 5. We push until 8 on Friday nights with a different menu, a little more elaborated. I would love to open more on Thursday night, for instance, and of course Saturday nights and Sunday. Sunday, nothing crazy, but probably a couple of hours. 11 to 2 or 11 to 3, because I think that we would be able to offer something nice for brunch.
Yeah, good Sunday French brunch.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll be down with that.
So far, the idea is that when we have these hours, we want to be able to keep them. And this is what we've been doing these past years.
Right.
Even so, sometimes it has been challenging in the kitchen. We've always been able to open and maintain our hours. I think that is very, very important that we're here for people when we promise to be.
Right.
And as for the rest, yes, maybe we should have done things differently, but
you're still here.
Yes.
You're after the 2-year threshold, and you're still here. You couldn't do it. You couldn't have made that many mistakes. What's one of your favorite things? So you mentioned the ham, egg, and cheese.
La complète.
Yes. What's one of your dessert favorites?
I can go with very simple things. As you said, the Nutella crepe is delicious.
Yes.
One of my favorite, actually, it's not in the menu yet. It's something that I hope we can make at some point, but we would have to get organized. It's not a big deal, but it's the flambé. You know, when you have some cognac or...
Oh, flambé.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's delicious with banana and some chocolate.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I would love to be able to offer that. So, and we'll do it. It's just not now, but...
Yeah.
And in the meantime, well, chocolate banana.
Yes.
What's wrong with that? Nothing, I think.
Nothing is wrong with chocolate banana. What's one of your favorite things about Braselton, or maybe not Braselton, but what's one of your favorite things about the area, places to go, things to do?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I would love to be able to answer that, actually. I don't really have that answer because, unfortunately, we're not able to have... I mean, we're always working a lot.
Yes. First 2 years, you pretty much spend here in this building.
Yes, we have our head full, and plus I still have my translation because I love my job and I still have my clients that I hope to keep for a little while. And what I love about Braselton and the area, well, I think this is the people.
Yeah.
People are great. They're I mean, if we're here, it's thanks to them
Yeah.
because they come on a regular basis. They will bring their friends. We will talk to their friends. This is what they've been doing since the very beginning.
Mhm.
I love the fact that the city and the economic agency gather their minds to they work very hard to make us business owners successful. They try
Yes.
to put things together in that respect to organize special events. We meet on a regular basis to do that. And there are people who are great also in the
Yeah.
business owners, and I'm thinking about, and I will of course not say it the right way because I never have clear things in mind in that respect, but you know the antique festivals that are held on a regular basis. It's Donna and Peggy who do that.
Yep.
They're wonderful people. They have the antique store over there, and I apologize, I don't have the name of it in mind. I should. But anyway, thanks to you ladies, we have people coming in.
Yeah.
And I mean, Braselton is famous for that too.
Yeah.
And
And
we
it's
help
awesome that
afterwards.
for people who are just coming to that, there is, it's one of those things that until I started really working in this area, and a lot of these restaurants are fairly new,
Yes,
in the last
we
5
are.
years or so,
Mhm.
but you have such high quality food in variety. So, we're outside, we're looking at the Braselton Brewery, Cotton Calf is right next door,
Local
your
station.
location, local stations behind us.
And the Blacks of Braselton.
Yeah, there's
What I
so
like
many
is-
good places you can just walk to.
Yes,
Come to the antique thing and you just walk to
that's true.
great food of all different kinds, and it's like, I mean, it's a couple hundred yards at the most that you're walking.
Absolutely, and what I like also is that there is this variety, and it's exactly that. We complete each other, we supplement each other. So that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
you don't have three places trying to sell
No.
burgers or
No.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the great thing about it.
yeah,
Plus, we have great stores such as Naked South Boutique and the Olive Basket, which are our closest neighbors. And on the other side of the store, you also have Element Spa
yep,
and another antique store. So
yeah. There's some good
And
foot
the-
traffic places
yeah,
here too.
absolutely. And a hairdresser. Now, we're in a one-time shop.
Yes,
You say that. And well, the good thing is that we're open to special parties. If you want to do something with a group, we can do that. We can do that actually during the day. We take reservations, and usually it's not a problem for us to accommodate groups. Even so, we have just one room,
yeah,
which is not that big, but we know how to do that. We can
Yeah.
do it, and we can think also about the evenings, because it's not because we cannot open on a regular basis that we cannot accommodate special events. If you're a group of 15 at least, we'll be happy to open for you, and you just have to get in touch, and I will
yeah. And if
get back
it's
to you.
nice weather, like we're coming into the spring, as long as the rain lets up, there's a bunch of outdoor seating. So
Yes.
you've got lots of options for
absolutely.
seating inside versus outside.
And come with your dog outside. We
Yes.
love dogs, and you're very welcome to come with them.
Awesome. One of the things I like to do before we wrap up every episode is what I call the lightning round, which is a question that has nothing to do about anything
my.
we've talked about.
Okay.
So, because you're from France,
Yes.
the lightning round question is, what is your favorite French fry?
My favorite French fry. Les frites, évidemment. Les vraies frites. Truth. I don't know fries. Because you know that the French fries are not French. Actually. I cannot give you
Eastern
the...
European? I don't.
No, it's American. I think it's...
Yes, it's definitely American.
Yes, you know
Yes.
that. I cannot give you the story because I read it. I don't remember the specifics. Don't really do that at the Cotton Calf actually, but I like
Yeah.
their big potatoes and also their mashed potatoes.
Yes.
I'm a farmer's girl. I'm a farmer's daughter, so
You-
I
you
love my
prefer
meat and my
in a different
potatoes.
fashion.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll wrap up with, how do people find you? You're on Facebook,
Yes.
website, phone number. How do people
So we're not very good at that. We still have to work. You're right to mention that. We still do not have any website. We are on Facebook. We have an Instagram page on which I need to work a little bit.
Okay.
And but yes, you can definitely reach us out via Facebook. You will find our phone number there. We also are on Yelp.
Okay.
And as far as I know, our information is correct there.
Okay.
We're also on TripAdvisor,
Okay.
and you can reach us out also on our email,
Okay.
With pleasure, we'll answer any requests.
Okay. So what's the phone number?
706-684-3080.
And it's the Galloping Gallette.
Yes.
Gallette. You can find it on Facebook. That's how I found them. I found them on Facebook, and their phone number, email address, all that contact information is there on Facebook. But again, if you're at all familiar with the downtown Braselton area, they're literally across the hall from Cotton Calf, so super easy to find. And there's plenty of parking in front, out back, around the side. Again, just such a great location. And if you've not been to France, this is the closest thing you're going to get to an authentic French experience as far as the cuisine goes, at least that I've had in the States.
And also, I hear that we cannot really go to France these days, so it will save you a trip to Atlanta too.
That's right, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your story, and yeah, we'll wrap up with that.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much.
This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live.